Alright, I'm going to be doing a review for the Q990D soundbar from Samsung. Right now I'm going to do the unboxing and then I guess I'll talk to you about it. Basically, I have right here the 5.1 system. I've never really had a soundbar before though. And downstairs I have this one's 5.1 and the one downstairs is a 5.1.4 with the Atmos. So I do have experience with the Atmos downstairs as well. But this one is a 11.1.4 channel, I believe. Or 11.1.2 maybe. I'm not too sure actually, to be honest, but we'll see when we open it. Anyway, let's get going. Yep, this thing's kind of heavy. Guess I'll put it down in front. Yep. So here's the manual and a user guide. Looks like it gives you an HDMI cable and a bunch of power cords, I guess, for the rear subwoofer and soundbar. Although I thought the rears would be powered by the subwoofer, but I guess not. What else is here? Oh, an L bracket. 2 L brackets, I guess, if you're mounting the soundbar on the wall. Maybe. Not the remote. Rubber feet for the soundbar. You only need 2? Oh no, there's 4. It's just really small. Yep. Alright, let's open these up. Alright, so I saw that y'all couldn't see the products that I had put in the front when I was unboxing, but at least you could see me lift them up out of the box, I guess. But anyway, this is the soundbar here up in front, the satellite speakers. Yeah, it's got a grill right here on the front and the side and the top. So I guess this is the Atmos one. This gives you, I guess, kind of like a bi-directional surround speaker. And then this one right here, the subwoofer, is pretty big. I can measure it, but it looks probably like 8 inches or so. I have another one. It's actually downstairs, but that one, I don't know if it's that big. I feel like it's not, but it could be. So I have one that's like low tier, I guess, and then this one I would say is probably going to be mid tier soundbar, especially for how much this costs. And then I also have a professional 21-inch down there subwoofer, so I'll be able to, I guess, speak on terms of bass and low frequency responses and let y'all know how it sounds. Anyway, I'm going to start reading the manual like I said earlier so I can test this out and see what it sounds like. Alright, so basically it took me a while to figure out how to set up the soundbar, but I'm going to run you through some of the settings and talk about the sound quality and some of the features of it. So one of the features is the Q-Symphony, where it uses the soundbar, the 2 rears, and then the sub. with the speakers on the back of the TV. So that made it sound fuller, I guess, like it filled the room. The problem is, for me, is that it had a lot of treble in the sound quality. And also when you enable Q-Symphony, you can't use the equalizer, so it's kind of fixed to where you can only do bass and treble, so you can't like fine tune it. So that was one thing. So I kind of prefer not having Q-Symphony on. The other thing is the SpaceFit Sound Pro. I had it enabled the whole time. Basically, it kind of uses the space, and I think it's a sensor in the TV or the soundbar, I can't remember, but it analyzes the space and it kind of makes it sound better. There's also adaptive sound, so it's kind of listening to any external noise sources, and if it's loud, like a loud noise source, it'll optimize the sound quality so you can hear the dialogue better. So that one, I had it on. I wasn't really paying attention if it on or off to see if it made a difference, but the sound quality still sounded great, so I just kept it on. Another thing is Game Mode Pro. Basically, it kind of tries to make it more 3D so you can see where the enemies are better, or like pinpoint them, like he's over here, or up higher with the Atmos, of course, so you kind of have the height speakers. Another thing is active voice amplifier. I think that's kind of like sort of the same as adaptive sound, but that one's more geared towards making the voices more clear versus the other one's just allowing you to, I guess, hear the whole movie better. So the adaptive sound's kind of like for the whole sound and making it sound better when there's external sources, and the active voice amplifier is just making sure you can hear the dialogue better. The active voice amplifier for me though kind of made the voices too loud. I guess you could change the equalizer to kind of trim down the trebles so the voices wouldn't, I guess, like pierce your ear type of thing. Tap sound, I didn't get to really test that one out. Supposedly you go to the SmartThings app and you hit tap sound, and then you just tap the soundbar and it plays the audio. I just basically played the audio on the phone, hooked up through Bluetooth and Bluetoothed it over, so I didn't really get to test out the tap sound portion. But yeah, so I'm going to run through the settings on the TV to show you kind of how I was able to get Atmos showing, because that's what took me a while to figure out, because it just kept saying multi-channel or Dolby Digital Plus and not really Atmos. So right here is a 4K source with Dolby Atmos. Let's see. So for the sound output, I have it to the soundbar. You can have TV plus soundbar, which is the Q-Symphony, but like I said, you lose the equalizer aspect of it. Sound mode standard. You can also change it to surround, game, or adaptive sound. But I just like having standard because it's not messing with the audio quality at all, so you're kind of getting like pure sound from movies. Let me go back. Yeah, so usually I leave that one on standard. And right here, I have it set to auto. You can have auto, pass-through, or PCM. With auto, it was able to do Dolby Atmos. It'll show it right here. Let me get the remote. Right, it says it right there now. Right, as soon as I get up. So it says Dolby Atmos. So it's really playing it in Dolby Atmos. Let's see. I think that was pretty much it. So I can go over the equalizer settings that I liked. That way, in case you want to try it out. So you go down to sound. Those are pretty much the same thing in that other menu. You can go to expert settings right here. And I had eARC to auto, Dolby output, format auto, You have to check this because this wasn't enabled in the beginning. So this is the Dolby Atmos, turning it on. Sound feedback, I guess that's just if you want to hear menu noises. So if you go to the equalizer, basically I have it set to a -4 woofer, -2 150 hertz, 0 for 300 hertz, 0 for 600 hertz, -1 for 1.2 kilohertz, 1 for 2.5 kilohertz, 2 for 5 kilohertz, and 0 for 10 kilohertz. So that's pretty much it. Let me see if there's anything else on here. Nope. So pretty much the subwoofer right here sounds pretty good. The only thing is you can kind of tell where the bass is coming from. Versus like a receiver, you can limit the hertz in the receiver to like 80 hertz to 100 hertz, but 80 hertz is like kind of where you won't be able to tell where the bass is coming from. So I have a feeling that this is tuned like a little higher, maybe like 150 hertz or something. So you're able to pinpoint where it's coming from. So it's the front left is where all the bass is coming from. So that's my only like gripe, is I wish that the equalizer setting also had like a, can't remember if it's low pass or high pass, but that way you can set it to 80 hertz. Other than that, though, I was able to tune the soundbar to those equalizer settings that you saw earlier, and it sounded pretty comparable, I guess, in a sense, to the 5.1.4 system I have downstairs. That one has a Denon receiver, the 4500H receiver, and then the Clips RP Reference Premiere Series with Dolby Atmos speakers like above the seating area, and then height speakers that are projecting the front Atmos towards you, so they're not ceiling, but they're up high on the wall. So that one, I feel like the Atmos downstairs is like you can actually hear it coming here. It still felt like the whole room was surrounded, and yes, like it was coming from the ceiling because it has all of the up drivers, the speakers, I guess, the same thing. But I guess you just can't really beat an actual system, like a Atmos system that has the ceiling speakers with sounds coming from the ceiling. Because to me, it's like if it has to go up and bounce off the ceiling, these speakers aren't like pointed towards you, so the sound can go and bounce off the ceiling and then hit the listening position. So that's not optimal. But other than that, I think it sounds pretty good. For $1,900, or I think that's what the MSRP is, it's a good setup, I guess, compared to having to buy the receiver, the extra speakers, and then wire it all and conceal it. It's a good option for you because it's wireless. I didn't even have to pair anything, surprisingly. All I did was just plug in the power, the HDMI cable to the soundbar, and then power to the rears and the subwoofer, and they all talk to each other, and was able to play everything. And I also played a Dolby Atmos like channel 7.1.4, even though it's not the 11.1.4, but still it would play like the center, front, right, rear, right, and so it would go around, you know, to play the height speakers. So I know I have it set up properly and everything. If you want to check it out, you can just go to, well, I'm doing it off the PC, so I'm not too sure. If you do it off YouTube, you would have to have like a sound file and play it off a media player or something, or if you have like a Dolby demonstration disc or something. But for the price point, it sounds really good, to be honest. I've had like a cheap soundbar before, so I wouldn't even really consider it something like this. It wasn't Atmos. I think it was just like 2.1. So I can't really compare soundbar quality, but I can compare an actual Atmos setup compared to this. But yeah, I would highly recommend the Q990D soundbar to anybody who's looking for a great sound compared to just your TV, because it's a huge difference. Yep, but if you have any questions, just leave a comment. I usually answer within a day or two. If you want to talk more in detail about calibrations and stuff, just let me know. All right, thank you. Oh yeah, the other thing is the rear speakers. If you're setting it up with the rear, this one says surround speaker right, and then the Samsung logo's here, and I had basically had it facing where I was sitting, and then the other speakers kind of coming out over here to the I guess the room. If you actually had this kind of where it tells you to, this would be like further out over here. If you had like a room behind your couch. And then this would be like facing your wall, this direction sort of. So it's pointing like this and then coming out this way so the sound would bounce off the wall. But for me, the couch is against the wall, so it's just pointing towards where I'm listening. And this one's just coming out to the open space. But the other speaker over there, at least it's kind of reflecting off the wall.